Here are 5 things you should know about being a private or a personal chef. 1. There are many different kinds of private or personal chef. There are jobs like mine where you cook for one family 5 days a week. And there are also jobs where you might be working anywhere from 1 to 6, sometimes even 7 days a week. I only cook lunch and dinner for my clients, but some clients will require that you prepare all 3 meals in a day, on top of snacks and even daily desserts or baked goods. Some clients will prefer that you meal prep for their week and you just prep it all, portion them, and let them heat it up themselves. There's also a completely different side of private chefing for private events. I used to do a lot of these when I was still working in restaurants and my earlier days of being a private chef. I don't really do these that often anymore. I recommend you try all of them out so you can decide which style of job you like best. 2. Dietary restrictions and preferences are paramount. Once you do find a client, ask lots of questions. Depending on your client, you might only get a few chances to really impress them. Ask them all about their dietary restrictions, allergies, intolerances, stuff that upset their stomachs like alliums, cruciferous vegetables, dairy, or gluten. Then ask them about things that they love, favorite ingredients, cuisines, sauces, restaurants, dishes. Really do your research so you can blow them away. Cooking an amazing meal won't matter if it's filled with a bunch of things that your clients can't or don't want to have. Sometimes you'll have clients that won't even know what they really want, and that's something you're going to have to learn to navigate. You should also find out what kind of foods they like to eat. Do they like simple, straightforward food? Do they like dressed up dishes with sauces, purees, garnishes? Do they want multiple courses? Do they like family style? You're also going to learn that when you cook for a family, your preferences come second to the client. What you want to do or cook doesn't really matter. They're paying you, usually a good amount, for a very particular service. So put away your ego, pride, or whatever can get in the way and cook the food your clients want. Of course, you can suggest things every once in a while to see if your clients want to try them, but don't try to push on your flavor profile and preferences onto your client. 3. If you mess up, you're gonna have no one to blame but yourself. If you overcook steak, rip the skin on fish, drop a piece of chicken, you're basically screwed. When you're cooking for one family, you don't have the luxury of having an extra piece or two in case something goes wrong. You get one chance. And if it's overcooked, you can be sure that your clients will let you know. That can be a lot of pressure for someone who has never worked a customer-facing job. Getting disciplined by your chef is very different than dealing with an upset client. 4. The pay is good. I get a lot of questions asking about how much I get paid, and that, well, I'm not gonna tell you that. The pay is really going to be client dependent based on the scope of work, how many people you're cooking for, how much prep and shopping you're going to be required to do on a daily basis, and also depending on what kind of food they want. What I recommend you do is calculate what your own time is worth and go from there. Figure how many hours you will be working and decide what your time and knowledge is worth. I personally don't think anyone else can decide your worth for you. And 5. Personality is very important. Work on your personality. You're going to be spending a lot of time in your client's home and in pretty close proximity. You're also probably going to have to engage with your client's guests when they do have them. That means you better be a decent person, or at the very least pretend that you are. Even if your food is amazing, if your client thinks you're annoying, abrasive, manic, or if you stress them out, they'll probably start looking for another chef. But vice versa, if you're an amazing, nice, likable person, they'll probably give you a few more chances to prove yourself and be a bit more understanding of a few mistakes. All in all, I personally love being a private chef. I love my clients. I love the work-life balance that I now have. It's given me the time and ability to create content, and the money is better than grinding in restaurants, even compared to when I was an executive chef. I definitely miss many parts of working in a restaurant, but I don't think I'll ever go back. Maybe pop-ups or staging for fun, but I definitely don't want to run another restaurant again.